Welcome back in here to Pro Wrestling Talk, STL, here on 590 The Fan, KFNS, 590thefan.com, and also here on claibsonline.com. We've been talking about it for the past few weeks. A huge month of local wrestling here in St. Louis that is going to be capped off on March 29th when AEW Dynamite is at Chaifetz Arena, and we welcome on to the show one half of the former AEW Tag Team Champions. The Acclaimed is here. It's Anthony Bowens. What's going on, man? How are you?
Whoa. Don't bring up former. It's still hurting my soul.
I can imagine that it is when the Ass Boys did what they did. I'm sorry for bringing it up, but I do want to talk about their dad, because first thing, I mean, I used to work with Road Warrior Animal, and I met Billy Gunn about 5 years ago, and I have talked about it anytime Billy Gunn comes up ever since then. He is a huge person. I growing up, being a fan of wrestling during the Attitude Era, and then meeting Billy Gunn in person, you kind of look up and you're like, oh my God, like how big of a guy he was. Were you shocked the first time you met Billy Gunn as to how huge he was?
Yes, Billy is a large man. The first time I met him actually was I had a tryout for the other company back in 2015. He was one of the coaches at the Performance Center, and I'll never forget, I was doing a drill. I think I was doing a little, my form was great, but there was a little something off. And I remember looking up as I was laying on the mat, and there was this angry man looking down at me with his beet red face. And it was so scary. I literally had nightmares thinking about this man wanting to kill me. But fast forward, however many years later, and now, he's Daddy Ass. We scissor every week on TV, and he's been such an influential part of the Acclaimed, part of my career. He's been a massive help to the both of us in every sense of the word. And I'm so happy that I get to, spend time with him every single week.
So you obviously remember that, and that's a memory you'll never forget. Did he remember who you were the first time you guys met in AEW?
I don't think so. I didn't really interact with him too much because I was still scared of him, to be honest with you. But when I, started to work with him and really started to get to know him more, he's such an incredible guy, so smart to literally everything that has to do with his business. And it's just been a godsend having him.
And I mean, a guy that was in so many different tag teams throughout his entire career, just having that knowledge to work with the two of you. What's kind of that one big piece of information? Like, what is something that he has given to you as far as the way you and Max work together in the ring?
Well, I don't want to give away the secrets, the daddy ass secrets to help you succeed in professional wrestling and life. But just in general, he's always there to make sure that we're strategizing the right way and preparing mentally the right way going into these matches to make sure that, we're not going in there blind. We're going in there prepared because we're, facing some of the best competition on the planet. So every time we step through those ropes, we got to be on our A game, and Billy's right there to help us and support us.
I love hearing the origin stories when things get over the way, the way that the scissoring has gotten over the way it has in AEW. But when you work with a guy like Billy Gunn, who got, ridiculous things over in his career, when this was first presented to him, what was kind of his first reaction to that?
Well, I was hurt at the time, and I was sitting in the wheelchair, and the scissoring thing had started to catch on. And then at some point I was just sitting there. I was very bored because I couldn't do anything but sit in the chair. And like 5 minutes before we were supposed to go, I'm pretty sure it was Rampage. It just popped into my head. It was like, I needed an ending for our entrance because, Max would rap, we would make fun of the Ass Boys, and then it would just kind of end. And I needed a closing line, and it just hit me. It was like, I'm going to say scissor me. And then we call him the Ass Boy, so he's obviously their dad. So Daddy Ass, scissor me Daddy Ass. I didn't tell anybody. Actually, I told Billy. I said, I think I'm going to call you Daddy Ass. And he just kind of gave me like a smirk and went, walked away. Okay, I guess he likes it. I didn't tell anybody. I went out. I did it. I screamed at the top of my lungs on live television. I came back and I looked around and no one said anything. And then the next week it was signs everywhere, people demanding shirts. It took a little bit of convincing, but eventually we got them to. I fought for it as hard as I could to get that T-shirt out, and it became the #1 selling T-shirt in the company. So it's been a wild, wild ride these last, was it 6, 9 months?
And it's, I mean, just the things like, I mean, what we saw a few weeks ago on Dynamite when Chris Jericho came out, and he comes out and he clicks a pen and everybody just goes wild. I mean, the clicking of a pen, the something as simple as that. I mean, it's scissoring. It is ridiculous what fans in pro wrestling will fall in love with.
You never know. Just the slightest thing that you can do, some people can connect with it and they can take it to the next level, like the "Oh Scissor Me Daddy" chant. Somebody just happened to, I guess, start singing it in Chicago at All Out, and the whole arena started. Now it's happening every single week still. Now, the new thing now is people like to blend the word scissor with their city. So it was San Francisco and it was Scissormento, and we got Saint Scissor coming up. They're in St. Louis, Kansas Scissor. So there's a whole different chant going on now, which I'm really excited for, and I hope we can do that in every city.
You mentioned how you didn't say that "Tell Billy" until you guys were going out. Nobody knew of that. So, the Acclaimed, everybody, when that music hits, when that noise, when that siren hits, I'm turning the volume up. I'm bumping it up 10 notches to hear what Max is about to say when he comes out. How privy are you to what Max is about to say?
These days, I will go and try and find what's happening in current events, and we'll have a team meeting. I'll deliver what I think he could potentially hit on. He'll deliver what he can potentially hit on, and then he goes away for a while. It goes through his creative process, and then he'll come back to me with something, and then we'll go out there. It's either, hey, we like this, or let's change this a little bit, and then we'll go out there, we'll do it, and then get some pretty interesting reactions. Sometimes we want them to be as authentic as possible, so we keep all that in-house between us, and because we want people to be angry. That makes better TV. We don't want people to know what we're going to say. We want them to be pissed at us, because that makes a more entertaining match if they're trying to kill us and we're trying to kill them right back. Uh-oh. I think we froze. Uh-oh.
There we go, Max. I think we're back now, so we will, we'll pick it up from there. I was going to say, the beauty of this, in what you just said, too, I think there are people out there, they're probably AEW fans who get their political news or their current events from what Max comes out and says, because he will say something and they'll go look up what it is. I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I kind of know what's going on, and I'm like, God, he's not going to make a joke about this. He's not going to say something about this. And then he does.
Anything and everything is on the table every single week.
Both sides, too. Both sides, yeah. Left and right. I mean, he goes, yeah.
Thank you for recognizing that, because most people will be, oh, you're pro right, you're pro left, you're pro. It's like, we're not pro anything. If you slip up, I don't care what side of the fence aisle you're on. If you slip up, you are up to getting dissed in a Platinum Max rap on live television. There's no taking sides. It's whatever's out there is out there.
So you guys, you've had this run now, as you mentioned, the past 6-9 months here on AEW. The story of how you and Max kind of came together and met is pretty incredible. That you guys, I mean, you met through baseball, right?
No.
I thought that was the story behind this.
No, I played baseball in college. The story is I trained at Creative Pro Wrestling Academy in New Jersey. He trained in Creative Pro Wrestling Academy, New York. I was actually the first match at the open house at the Creative Pro Wrestling New York, because the New Jersey school had been open for, I think, 2 years at that point, and Max Caster was in the crowd watching that. He would train there, and I would train at New Jersey, and I think we wrestled maybe once on a show. We weren't friends. We didn't really know each other. It was kind of like hi and goodbye. And while I was fielding another offer back in 2020, Tony Khan found out about that. I came down to Jacksonville to speak with him. And that day I was getting in the elevator, happened to go walk into the elevator and see Max Caster. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing here, dude? He goes, I'm here to talk to Tony. I'm like, huh, I'm here to talk to Tony. And then we got to the arena, and then we found out we were there to talk to Tony together, because Tony had this idea that he wanted us to team together and be called the Acclaimed. And we had no idea what it was. We had no idea what to expect. He just knew that, you know, Max was a rapper and there could be some entertaining stuff there. And he thought that we would have a good chemistry together. And we went out, we wrestled a match about 2 hours later against Best Friends, had a really good match, came back and saw them give a thumbs up. And next thing you know, we were signed and off to the races.
Yeah, just an incredible story, and it's you know, one of those that it's a feel good story in wrestling when you see something like that come together. And it's, you know, you guys had to get your start through the COVID era too, in pretty much empty arenas, and you got yourselves over in that. And I feel like if you could do that, you could do it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how hard that is to do, especially in the middle of a global pandemic, when you can't train, you can't travel really other than to and from work. And at that time they were taping every other week. So you would wrestle basically twice a month, and we would have to figure out our gear, our chemistry, catchphrases, moves, just, you know, throwing shit up against the wall to see what would stick, and trying to do our best with no audience as well. Our presentation is so interactive. We need a live audience there. They can react to Platinum Max's disses. They can get excited when I yell their city. We can scissor with them. All of that hinges upon having a live, you know, call and action response. So it was very hard to do in the pandemic, and we were able to capitalize on it. We both are extremely hard workers, and we don't like to take no for an answer. And we both want to continue to prove that we are the best professional wrestlers in the world, the best tag team alive. And I think we prove that every single week that we walk out on television.
I want to talk a little baseball with you, Anthony. You played in college. You played at Seton Hall, and we, you know, here in St. Louis, huge baseball town. How many first pitches have you thrown out across the country for AEW when you guys were in a baseball city?
Zero, because every time I get the opportunity to, there's some sort of scheduling conflict. I live in Los Angeles now, so sometimes it's hard to get select flights to certain cities, and then it's like, hey, I want you to throw a first pitch at the Brewers game, but my flight lands at 9 and I can't get in earlier because I have something else. So it's always, I'm waiting for the day. I'm a huge San Francisco Giants fan, so hopefully that would happen there, but I welcome doing it anywhere. It would be a fun experience.
I can tell you that that my friend Ben Boyd, who's the manager of the Cardinals radio network, he will tell people that he can get you to throw out a first pitch. I don't know exactly if he has that power, but I think we can make that happen in St. Louis. Unfortunately, you guys are here the day before opening day, and opening day in St. Louis is kind of a holiday, like a religious holiday. I don't know if I can get you to throw out the first pitch on opening day. That would be a stretch. I feel like somebody in a red jacket might have to do that.
No, there's no pressure. I don't think I'm the one for that anyway. If this was the Giants for at Oracle Park in San Francisco, then I would scratch and claw to do that. But I think somebody more fit to someone who loves the Cardinals more than I do would be more fit to do that.
Oracle, I mean, I know when you ask people their favorite ballparks, they will say Oracle or they will say PNC. I'm guessing Oracle, your favorite ballpark.
I've been to both. I love both, but you know, I'm biased, so I have to go with Oracle.
What are some of your other top ones?
Other top feel I loved. Let's see. Let me name I got to think. I've been to Old and New Yankee Stadium, Shea Stadium, and Citi Field. Turner Field, Tropicana Field, Fenway Park, Wrigley Field, U.S. Cellular, San Francisco, Oakland, Anaheim. Who else is there? I'm probably missing a couple. The Nationals Stadium was incredible. It's hard to pick one, but I've been to a lot of stadiums. Veterans Stadium, Citizens Bank Park.
I'll tell you, the one you didn't name that's a sneaky good one, if you guys end up back in Cleveland at some point this summer, Progressive Field, where the Guardians play, that's a sneaky good field. That you don't. Yeah, it's a good one there. Have you been to Coors yet?
No, I would love all these stadiums. I would have loved to have gone to when I was a lot younger, because I'm a huge Barry Bonds fan. My dad and I and my mom, we would travel to a different stadium every year to watch Barry play, and I always wanted to go to the NL West stadiums and watch him play, but I never got the chance to. So I would always see him on the road somewhere on the East Coast or in the Midwest.
That's still, I mean, so you've probably seen him hit a lot of home runs over the years, I would imagine.
I've seen him hit 3. My first one was 02 at Veterans Stadium off of Mike Timlin, number 596. Then Citizens Bank Park in 2004. Then at Camden Yards in 2004. Actually, 4 times. And then at Turner Field, I think it was 747, something up there. So
I had a chance to talk to him one time. It was when he was the hitting coach for the Marlins, and I just randomly found myself standing next to him, and it's one of those, you're just sitting there like, what do you say to Barry Bonds? Like, I was just lost, and I just kind of was like, we were at the New Busch Stadium, and I was like, this is your first time here, right? And he started telling me, then he started going off on all the fields he hates around baseball.
That's great.
It was Miller Park and the one in Miami that he was coaching at were the two that he was just, I mean, he was just ripping them to shreds about how terrible they were. And I was like, this is really cool.
That's probably why he left. Yeah, I was 16 years old in Pittsburgh, and all my friends said if I ever met him, he would never sign for me because the media projected him to be a bad guy. And I met him in Pittsburgh. He signed for me. Sweet dude. And he had a fan in me ever since. So hopefully I get to meet him one day, thank him for that, and take a picture.
That's awesome, man. So as you guys know, the summer schedule then, what ballpark are you knocking off this summer?
I don't know. There's a lot of unscheduled dates going forward. Once I get the schedule, I'm going to start figuring out when I can get into town and hopefully scratch off a few other ballparks. And I don't know, maybe scissor a couple players, scissor Barry Bonds. Who knows? Uh-oh, you're frozen again, Joe.
There we go. Yeah, it's my end. It's my end. I'm sorry. Yeah, on March 29th, AEW will be at Chaffetz here in St. Louis. Hopefully, you guys will be back sometime when baseball is being played, and you could check out Busch Stadium as well and take a game in here in St. Louis. Anthony, thank you so much for your time, man. Appreciate it, and best of luck on the continued success in AEW, and hopefully you get the titles back, whether it's from the Ass Boys or whoever ends up having them the next time you guys get your shots.
I don't care who it is. We're coming for the AEW tag team titles. We got to get them back around our waists, and I can't think of a better way to end this than Joe. Throw them up. Scissor me, Joe! Ah!
It's Anthony Bowens, one half of the Acclaimed from AEW, here with us on PWT STL 590 The Fan.